Diana from beautygirlsmom.com, and my sidekick is...
Wait, don't start without me.
What are you doing?
I told you I can't perform miracles. It's going to take me a minute to be ready. I'm ready.
I see you got the memo that we're going to be reviewing one of your favorite television shows today, a little departure from our normal podcast.
That's right. We're going to be doing a review of the season finale of Black Jesus on Adult Swim. As we know, Jesus is about to leave us, but we're hoping that he has his second coming next year with season 2 when he comes back.
If they get renewed, yeah, for the second season.
Well, it's kind of hard to doubt that they won't be renewed. Black Jesus on Adult Swim is #1 in its time slot, and it's #1 at 11 o'clock all across the week on cable and regular television. Over 2 million viewers each episode.
So you have faith that it'll be renewed, is what you're saying.
That is an appropriate word.
Yes, it is. So let's talk about this show, Black Jesus, because I have to say, it's not my sense of humor, so I'm not a fan. I have seen bits and pieces of several episodes, but why don't you give us a quick overview, and by quick I mean quick overview, of what the show is.
Okay. Black Jesus is the story of Jesus in the modern day times in Compton, out in Los Angeles in California. And it has Jesus in his adventures going through ordinary life in a very bad neighborhood. Exactly where you would expect Jesus to be living in this day and time. He would not be living in a penthouse in New York City. He's living out on the streets with people who do things like love it when he turns water into wine. Is growing a community garden to help people out in the community. He also smokes marijuana, and he's got friends who are gangsters, he's got friends who are criminals, he's got friends who are prostitutes and all sorts of problems. Exactly where Jesus should be in our modern society.
So, this is on Adult Swim.
Yes, which is Cartoon Network, but at 11 o'clock it switches over to more adult-oriented comedy or routines.
So not a good show for children.
Well, first off, your kid should be in bed long before then. But when you talk about what's a good show for children, there is no violence in this show. There are gun scenes. There have been some episodes where a gun has been fired in the air, but no one's ever been shot where there's been a wound or any type of graphic display of violence or blood being drawn. There is some profanity in it. There is some cursing, but I mean it's kept to a minimum, and it's part of the plot. There's no nudity. It's really just the topic, I guess, of the subject matter that stops this from being a really good primetime television show.
So, as I said, I've seen bits and pieces of several episodes, and
she's seen them all because I watched them in the room with her.
I haven't watched them. Not my sense of humor. However, I definitely see them portraying Jesus as a very Christian character.
A true Christian.
But still very human, kind of like the real Jesus would have been.
Well, there's an episode where Jesus gets hit by a car, and the person driving the car gets out, and they say, "Jesus, are you all right?" And the driver goes, "He's fine, he's Jesus." And Jesus goes, "I'm not Superman, that hurt." I mean, it's very humorous that, you know, the way the whole thing was portrayed.
What I don't understand is, again, Jesus seems like a very Christian character. He doesn't seem in any way derelict or outrageous. Why are so many Christian organizations anti-Black Jesus?
Well, first off, they're anti just because of the fact that it's Black Jesus. The actor who plays the role of Jesus, he was asked in an interview, would people have perceived this any different if Black wasn't in the title? And his answer to that was to laugh and say, "That's pretty funny. Who knows how that would have gone down?" But there is that part of it. The other part is the people bothered by Jesus apparently hanging out with people doing drugs and drinking wine and having a good time in society with hard times. I mean, on a spiritual level, I fail to see how somebody who actually reads their Bible should have any problem with this show.
And really, like you said, I mean, it's not that Jesus in his time was hanging out with, you know, kings and queens or princes. And I mean, he was hanging out with prostitutes and, you know, the common man, fishermen, you know, people that were common, hardworking people, criminals even.
He went to a wedding where they didn't have enough money. They ran out of food and drink, and his mother asked him to turn the loaves and fishes and turn the water into wine. You know,
he asked for wine. The loaves and fishes was a whole different story, but
Well, that brings up a good point. I mean, there are episodes in the show where some of the characters identify themselves as agnostic or atheists, And Jesus' answer in Black Jesus is he loves them all just the same. I mean, he harbors no ill will to anybody. Even the characters like Vic, the landlord, who's played by Eddie Murphy's brother, Charlie Murphy. There's a scene where Charlie Murphy could lose his job, and Jesus comes to his rescue saying, we have to help him. There's another episode where Charlie Murphy is out drunk, staggering around, getting into trouble from a serious emotional separation from a woman he was dating. Jesus' answer is, I have to go help Vic. That's the same guy who was just trying to hurt him.
I was going to say, isn't Vic the character that dumped the water all over the barbecue Jesus was having out in the backyard? And he's
Vic has really done everything. I mean, if anybody in this show was really a dick or a jerk to Jesus, it would be Vic. And yet, anytime there's an opportunity to help Vic, Jesus is the first one to stand up and tell them all to come lend a hand. Even when there's a prayer that has to be said, he's the first one to hold his arms out and asking everyone to come together and for them to all be there and be together as a community out there in the street. He's not taking them to a church. That's probably one thing that religious organizations put out with this. It's talking about Jesus in the streets as opposed to in the churches.
So Jesus in the show is played by Gerald Slink Johnson, who was associated with The Boondocks, which was also a show that you liked.
Floyd did those, yes.
Floyd, the character Floyd, played by John Witherspoon, also from The Boondocks.
Yes.
But none of these names are, I would think, household names. Is that impacting the show at all?
Number one, no. They're all good actors, and a lot of them have worked together on other things. Some of these people they have experience as being voice actors, and as we know, a voice actor is not somebody who goes, oh, hello. A voice actor is somebody who can go, to be or not to be, oh, that is the question. You know, it requires still that you be an actor and you have a high degree of talent. So for the work that a lot of these people have done, such as video games or animated cartoon acting, they have a lot of acting experience. You just don't know them by their face.
Yes, Link Johnson was also Grand Theft Auto 5. Yes. His voice was used in that. And there were other...
And for anybody who's played Grand Theft Auto, the moment you hear this guy talk, you'd be like, what is that guy saying? But if he said a phrase that you heard in Grand Theft Auto 1,000 times, you would be like, oh my God, you're the guy.
So let's give our bottom line. Again, it's not really my sense of humor. It's a little, I would say, sophomoric.
But is it a bad show?
I don't think it's a bad show. I don't think there's anything inappropriate in the show. I don't think there's any reason that organizations should be protesting the airing of this program. I certainly think it represents Jesus as I would picture Jesus modern day. Maybe a little flightier than I think Jesus probably would have been. This Jesus is a little bit goofy, but it's goofy in a naive way as opposed to he's stone stupid. You know?
Well, I mean, let's take this joke. In one scene, they're all smoking marijuana, and somebody complains that Jesus is taking too many puffs. And his answer to him is, I died for your sins. Well, the answer back from the rest of the people is, oh, Jesus, that was 2,000 years ago. Give it a break. You're smiling right now. I mean, that's funny on several levels. It's funny sophomorically. It's funny for adult humor. It's just humorous. It doesn't have to be, But see, that's one of the reasons that we like Pixar films. There's an adult humor track and there's a kid humor track going on at the same time. Whichever one you pick up on, there's always something to laugh at.
Okay, so my bottom line on Black Jesus, you have to be into this type of humor. Don't rule it out just based on the name Black Jesus. If you think it's going to be something racially charged or outrageous.
It's on 11 o'clock at Adult Swim. So if there are certain words that you're not used to hearing, you're probably not up at 11 o'clock watching Adult Swim. The thing with Adult Swim, though, is if you have cable or satellite, you have it. Or Fios. It's Cartoon Network at night.
Yeah, so I would say don't rule it out. Definitely check it out.
All right, on a scale of 4 stars.
On a scale of 4 stars, again, for me personally, I would have to say 2. I wouldn't tune in all the time. But when it's on and it's playing in the background, it's not a horrible show. And I do think the representation of Jesus in the show is probably spot on for what Jesus would be.
Is there anything stopping this show from appearing right alongside that show you watch with the nerds with their PhDs and the girlfriend next door with the cleavage?
I don't think it's any more outrageous than that show, except they do...
What's the title of that show?
The Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
And then there's that other show you watch with the gay couple that's married that has a baby with all the other couples. Parenthood or something?
You mean Modern Family?
Modern Family. There you go. There are people who protest that just because of that nature of the content.
Yeah, I do think this crosses a line, though, because there
Crosses.
That doesn't work. I do think it crosses a line in terms of, you know, they do use drugs on the show. I mean, it's not something you would want your kids to accidentally see.
Well, the difference is they're not shooting up heroin. They are
just smoking marijuana,
which
but still, it's
in
not
Jesus'
something you want
time
your
and
kids
today
to
now is
see.
a natural plant. It's not, and we're not condoning if it's illegal in your area.
We're not condoning, period.
Okay, I would give it 4 out of 4 stars. If you're going to watch this kind of show, it is an excellent thing to watch. If you're watching Adult Swim, excellent show to watch. Excuse me. If you're watching Family Guy, this is way up there in terms of its caliber. The writing is great. The actors do a great job. And, you know, they spend all the time walking around outside Compton on the scenes of L.A. And I think they do a great job with putting real-life situations into a current, contextual, what if Jesus was alive today environment.
I would watch this over Family Guy. I don't think it's gross.
Well, hold on. You would only watch it over Family Guy because it's a cartoon.
No, well, Family Guy's a cartoon, and I'm not that into cartoons. But Family Guy is just gross. I don't think there's anything gross in this.
And that maybe because it's not a cartoon.
Not my type of humor.
So, I mean, they're sticking to real-life scenes. I mean,
we'll take the average 4 stars and 2 stars, and we'll say, as a family, as a unit.
3.5 or so. Black Jesus season finale, 11 o'clock.
Black Jesus season finale tomorrow night. That's Thursday. In most, check your local listings. 4 stars from you, 2 stars from me, 3 stars as a unit. Black Jesus, Adult Swim. Thank you very much for being with us. We'll see you real soon.
We shall come again.